Are you dreaming of visiting Switzerland? Planning a trip to Switzerland is very exciting, but it can also be overwhelming. How do you choose which of the many scenic cities, towns and villages to visit? Which mountaintop excursions should you take? And what's the best way to get around Switzerland? And of course, how much of the country can you realistically see within your time frame? If you've asked yourself any of these questions, this is the podcast for you. This is the Holidays to Switzerland travel podcast, and in each episode, your host Carolyn Schonnefinger chats with Swiss travel experts to answer your most commonly asked questions, provide practical tips, and take you on a virtual visit to the most popular destinations, and of course some hidden gems to help you plan your dream trip to Switzerland. And you'll hear plenty of conversations about Swiss cheese and chocolate too. Are you ready to plan your trip to Switzerland? Well, let's get started.
Hi there, welcome to episode 89 of the podcast. It's great to have you here for this first episode of 2024. Would you like to travel around Switzerland by public transport, but you don't want to go it alone? Well, a small group rail tour may be just what you're looking for. In today's episode, I'm chatting with Andrea Caspani from Echo Rails and Trails to learn all about their 12-day Swiss Alps Grand Rail Tour. The tour visits the most popular destinations in Switzerland and includes rides on the famous panoramic trains and the most iconic mountain excursions. But it also offers guests the chance to explore some of Switzerland's lesser-known delights, all whilst travelling by public transport, making this a truly unique tour. Add in the benefits of having a knowledgeable local guide, 2-night stays in each destination, and most of your meals included, and you've got a tour that you will never forget. So let's hear more about this wonderful experience from Andrea. Good morning, Andrea. Thank you very much for coming onto the podcast today. Would you like to start by introducing yourself and just telling us a bit about your background and how you came to be living in Switzerland?
Hey, Carolina. Good morning to you. Thank you for inviting me to the podcast. Pleasure to be here.
I'm originally from Lake Como, and I studied tourism, and I have a master in economics.
And during my studies on my master, then I was looking for a job in tourism, and I found a nice opportunity here in Lucerne to work for a local tour operator. So I just moved here, and it was a 6-month internship, and I'm still here. And that was back in 2011. Wow.
So you obviously fallen in love with Switzerland and decided to stay. What is it about the country that you love so much?
That's a good question, Caroline. And the question should be what I don't like about Switzerland. It's a very hard question to answer, and probably I can speak about this for hours. I will try to be concise. But basically, Switzerland, it's a lovely country. It's the system that works. You need to take in consideration also that 25% of Switzerland population are foreigners. But still, everything works, and everybody that lives here loves this country, and this is reflected everywhere you go. So it's clean. Also, the public transportation system is very efficient. It's on time. It works very well. The health system works very well. The politics, it's fair. There is a direct democracy, so everybody, can decide basically on, the laws that are basically, approved in Bern by the federal government. The recycling system works. It's eco-friendly, so they do a lot of investments to be as CO2 neutral as possible. But what I love most about Switzerland are the mountains, for sure. So I love hiking in summer. I love skiing in winter. The pristine landscapes, the glaciers, the waterfalls, the lakes. It's just like a very, very beautiful country. And that's also where I believe also Switzerland, it's kind of a unique place to visit.
You're right. It's certainly from a visitor perspective, as I am, it certainly runs very smoothly, and Of course, those mountains, who can resist them? Now, you mentioned that you started working for a tour company when you first moved to Lucerne. What was the reason then that you decided to start your own company?
That's a good question, Caroline. So whenever you start a new business, you have two directions. So one direction is to create absolutely something totally new. And the other direction is to do something better than the competitors that are already out there. And I've been working in tourism my whole life, basically a teenager. And I saw a lot of things, and I worked for a bunch of companies, and I realized, wait a minute, I can do this better. And I was confident enough to, to jump and start my own business. It's not an easy way, but it's the way that I believe it was meant for me. And today, I've been already like many years that we are in the business, and the reviews that we have, basically they speak by themselves. So it looks like we are doing better than most of our competitors will say. We are a customer-centric company, so we do everything we can to make, the clients happy.
And it must be so satisfying to be able to take those clients and show them the beauty of Switzerland and see the reactions on the faces of people who have never seen such magnificent scenery before.
It is, Caroline. The most rewarding aspect of our job is when people write us the emails at the end of their trips saying how wonderful it was, how, the guides were performing, the sceneries that they were experiencing, the design of the itinerary that was, running very smooth. And that's the best, reward that we can get. When the clients are happy, they go back, they can share their memories with the people that they love. And that's what we do.
We create long-lasting memories for them.
Fantastic. We'll talk more about your signature 12-day rail tour shortly. But before we sort of get into all the details of it, can you give the listeners a bit of an overview of the tour?
Yes, definitely, Caroline. This is one of the best trips. So in 12 days, you can experience basically most of the highlights or the best spots that Switzerland can offer. And not only that, we also have like a pre-tour option and a post-tour option for people that have a little bit more time, I will say. So the pre-tour option adds one night at the beginning of the tour just to acclimate basically in Lucerne with one night more. And the post-tour also goes to Ticino, which is one of the least explored part of Switzerland, but it's still very beautiful. And it offers also like a Lake Como cruise. We go to Bellagio, and it's a wonderful trip. Everything is taken care of, and it's a 12-day, almost everything included, and it's escorted. And very important, we travel, of course, with the public transportation system in first class. So we include also the Swiss travel pass in first class. Because we also want to be eco-friendly, we want to play a part basically to reduce the impact that we have on the world. So it's a fantastic journey throughout Switzerland, escorted, taken care of, and with beautiful sceneries, of course.
Of course. Now, when I was reading through the itinerary, a couple of the things that really stood out to me were some of the excursions you've included that probably most people, or particularly first-time and second-time visitors to Switzerland, probably don't experience these things. And they are the Färker steam train and also a post bus ride over the Grosse Scheidegg. Can you tell us a bit about those excursions and why you've included them?
Definitely, Caroline. So what we want to do and what we try to achieve in our itineraries is to really experience the authenticity of Switzerland. So we try to offer always something that is very unique in our itineraries, also to differentiate from our competitors. And the Furka Steam Railway is one of the highlights of the trip, which not many tour operators, I believe none, is offering on their itineraries. And most of the time because they lack of time or because the tour are too fast paced. But we truly believe that these activities, although are not well known, are the one that makes the difference in our itineraries and are the one that our clients love more. You mentioned the post auto. This is a funny story because the itinerary before it was built that we were going on another railway. And for one summer, they were doing a renovation. So we had to come up with an alternative route. And we discovered basically this post auto that goes between Grindelwald and Meiringen. This is very popular among the clients because it goes somewhere where, again, no other tours are going, no other itineraries that are out there are going. And it's a kind of a wild valleys with mountains all over. There is also a small stop in a small village where you can check out, the cheese. And it's a beautiful ride. And another thing that we include in our itinerary is a visit on the Gotthard Pass on a recently declassified military bunker. And I tell you, Caroline, also this one is definitely one of the highlights that our clients mentioning at the end of their tours. And again, out there are not many tour companies that offers these activities, and people appreciate that.
Yeah, and I guess you've got an advantage too that you only take quite a small number of guests on each of your tours. So having such a small group, it's much easier to be able to take all those guests on those excursions like the steam train and on the bus ride and so forth.
Yes, totally. The fact that we have small groups makes definitely the trip a little bit more expensive than our competitors. But our clients appreciate very much that because most of the time we have, depending on the size of the group, if we have 10 participants, will be one guide. But if we have 12, then we add a second guide to the trip. And people love that because they are taken care of and we can do basically all these special activities that require also kind of a, local support. Our English-speaking guides are local experts. They know their tours very well. And on top of that, also having small groups makes it easy dealing with emergencies. We are on the road, so it happens that, we need to deal with something, and having two guides gives our clients the peace of mind that they pay for, because having two guides on the trip is definitely quite expensive. But again, we are a customer-centric company, and we believe that the clients need to be taken care of.
And they would definitely be getting fantastic, personal experience from having one or two guides for so few passengers. So that's fantastic. Another activity that I noticed that you include in the tour is a chocolate making workshop in Interlaken. That sounds like a lot of fun, and I bet that's a highlight for many guests also.
Yes, indeed, Karen. So we always thought in our, in the 12-day rail tour, we should have some activities related to cheese. So we are going to visit a cheese factory in around Lucerne, in a local cheese factory, basically, where they explain how the cheese making process works and how they collect, the milk from the farmer and all these things. And of course, chocolate, because Switzerland is cheese and chocolate. So we added recently the chocolate experience in Interlaken. It's definitely one of the highlights. It's about an hour. And we have a chocolate expert that is basically teaching our groups how to make chocolate. And people can mix up, their ingredients. I made a chocolate for my daughter, and she was super happy, and the chocolate was super delicious. So we shared. I love chocolate too. I said, hey, this is a present for you, but I want a piece too.
Rightly so. And what a wonderful souvenir. I mean, if the guests could resist eating that until they got home, what a fantastic memento to take home from their trip. And another point of difference that I've noticed with your tour is that you don't just stay overnight in each destination. You stay 2 nights everywhere. Why did you design the itinerary that way?
This is a good point, Caroline. We want our clients to experience Switzerland in comfort. So having, the overnight stay 2 nights in each place allows basically our clients to enjoy to the fullest the place that they are visiting. So the itinerary starts in Lucerne, so where we stay 2 nights, and if you add the pre-tour, it's going to be 3 nights. So you have a little bit more time to, explore the town on yourself, on your own. And then we go to St. Moritz, 2 nights, and then we go to Andermatt, 2 nights, and then Zermatt, 2 nights, and then Grindelwald, 2 nights. And then we add 1 more night in Zurich before your flight back home. And again, our clients at the end of the trip, they really appreciate the fact that we stay 2 nights because they don't need to pack and unpack every day, and they can really explore and enjoy each places that we are visiting.
I think that it's definitely an advantage because you see so many tour itineraries where the tour might arrive into a destination at 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and then you don't have much time to see the place before you're packing up and you're leaving the next morning at 8 or 9 o'clock. So staying 2 nights certainly gives people that extra time to really get a good look and a good feel of the destination they're staying in. Let's talk a bit more about the finer details of the tour. What would you say are the key highlights of the Swiss Alps Grand Rail Tour?
One of the highlights that our people enjoy very much is the fact that we have luggage transfers between destinations. So we can travel between, let's say, Lucerne to St. Moritz without our luggage, and the luggage will be delivered to the next hotel. The fact that the groups are small, that's also one of the key elements. The fact that we are traveling first class, which adds also a little bit more comfort during the trip. And, for example, we have the Bernina Express. So we are going from St. Moritz to Tirano, and we are enjoying like a lovely lunch in Italy. And then we go back to St. Moritz, or, for example, the Voralpen Express. Voralpen Express connects Lucerne to St. Gallen, to the eastern of Switzerland. Of course, we already mentioned the Furka-Steam Railway, which is in the region of the Gotthard Pass and Andermatt. And then we have the Gornegrad, which probably all our listeners are aware of, in Zermatt. In Lucerne, we offer the 2 mountains. So we have Pilatus, which has the steepest cogwheel train in the world, and Rigi, which is actually the oldest European cogwheel train. And the Golden Path line, it's also one of the highlights from Montreux to Interlaken, the majestic Jungfrau, and also the Zentralbahn here in Lucerne. And not to forget, of course, the Glacier Express, which is also one of the highlights of the trip.
Mm. And of course, you've included the seat reservations for all those panoramic trains, which is fantastic because I know this year, particularly in the high season, getting seats or finding your seat reservations for those panoramic trains was very, very difficult. So the fact that you've already included those is a great bonus as well. What about meals? What meals are included with the tour?
Yes, I just want to add about the reservation, Carolina. Not only we reserve like these special trains, but we reserve all transportations everywhere you go. And this makes also the trip a little bit easier and more comfortable for our clients. About the meals, we offer breakfast. So the breakfasts are included. Lunch is usually not included because usually we are on, experiencing something. So usually we stop for a quick lunch or we grab a sandwich, and the dinners are included. So we offer 3-course dinner, starter, a main course, and a dessert. Of course, Swiss dishes, locally produced. We also work with hotels and restaurants that are kind of earth conscious. So all food are really fresh and local. And so far also we experience, our clients always mention that, the food that they had, they really enjoyed.
Okay, I'm sure they did. You mentioned before the towns where you have overnight stays. What standard of accommodation will the guests on the tour be staying in?
So we offer a mix between 3 and 4 stars hotels, depending on the region and depending also on the availability. So on our website, we always mention kind of the usual accommodation that we are going to use, or we offer similar accommodation. In Lucerne, we work with 3 and 4 stars hotel. But I must say, one of the hotels that I love most is in Zermatt. It's called La Ginabel. And my opinion is one of the best hotels that you will ever experience on this trip. So again, it's not super luxury. So we are not offering 5 stars. It's not also too cheap. So basically, we offer kind of a great comfort. Also, these 3 stars hotels that we are working with need to have certain standards. And so far, also the clients have been very happy with the choice of hotels that we have been choosing.
What do you think are the advantages for people who decide to take a small group tour?
Well, as I said, having like a small group tour definitely bring up a little bit the price. So our itinerary probably is one of the most expensive if you compare with our competitors. But when the people start to enjoying and experience the value of what we are offering, they always mention that it's worth every penny because they get their extra care, they get the extra support, and the fact that you are basically 12 days with our guides, you become friends. So we have clients that invite our guides, to visit them in the US, but it's a very personalized approach to it.
Right. And does the 12-day tour that we've just been talking about, does it operate all year round or only in a particular period?
We operated the 12-day rail tour only during the summer months from June to September, because some of the highlights that we are going to visit are not possible to be visited in winter, such as the Gotthard and the Furka. There is too much snow. The avalanche risk is there, so they shut down during the winter months. We have fixed departures. So for 2024, we have 9 departures. So they are fixed. However, we are going to come up also with a self-guided 12-day rail tour or 8-day rail tour. We are still deciding, where people can choose their own dates of travel and they will not be escorted, but they will have all the support and all the documents and all the reservations will be done by us. So we want to give basically people the flexibility also to travel on their own date. So we believe that the self-guided tour is the way to go. And again, people will have the full support from the office.
Okay, excellent. Now, I'm sure that there's plenty of people who are listening who are thinking, that 12-day guided tour sounds absolutely fabulous. And you've been kind enough to offer our listeners a special discount if they would like to go ahead and book on the tour. Can you tell everyone a bit more about the discount offer?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, thank you also for inviting us for the podcast. So if you book with us, you can either book directly online on our website and you get a discount, I believe 5% on our rates. Yes, I confirm 5%. And the discount code is HT Swiss. So this one, you can immediately use it on our website. It is active and you get 5% discount. If you have questions, you can still, contact us. We have offices. We are a US and Swiss-based company, so we have salespeople based in the US where, you can reach out, or you can reach out also the Swiss office. whichever works best for you guys. And again, if the 12 day is probably too long for you, we have other versions. We have also the 8-day rail tour. We have a 5-day rail tour, and we have even like a 3-day rail tour. So you can choose depending on the length of, how many days you have at your disposal and all the activities prepared for you.
On top of that, we could offer custom itineraries. So if you want to have a personalized quotation, we are ready and happy to help you.
Wonderful. Well, I'll include a link to your website, and I'll mention that discount code again in the show notes for this episode. So if people missed that, they can just have a look at the show notes. And I'm sure you'll be getting plenty of inquiries because it sounds like a fantastic tour. Super, great value with so many excursions. And as you say, offering a lot of things that no other tour company currently does. So let's hope you get plenty of interest from our listeners.
Yes, thank you, Caroline. Definitely. We already have a couple of departures that are already fully booked, and we are definitely always, receiving a lot of inquiries and requests because, again, some clients really see the value that we are offering here. So it's a great product. The reviews speak by themselves. So I'm sure that 2024 is going to be also a great season.
Well, I wish you the best of luck with that. Thank you so much for joining us today, Andrea.
Thank you, Caroline. Have a good one.
Thank you. Is the 12-day Swiss Alps Grand Rail Tour just what you've been looking for? You'll find links to the full tour details, including the daily itinerary, inclusions, and price, plus the promo code so you can secure your exclusive Holidays to Switzerland discount in the show notes for this episode. I'll also link to the shorter small group rail tours, just in case your vacation won't quite stretch to 12 days. Those show notes are at holidaystoswitzerland.com/episode 89. Thank you for joining me today. If you enjoy the podcast, I'd be extremely grateful if you could leave a 5-star rating or review on your favorite podcast app. And if you've got a friend or family member or a colleague who is planning a trip to Switzerland soon, please share the podcast with them too. That would make my day. Until next time, tschüss!